Today we are studying Chapter 3, Social Institutions, Continuity and Change. In that we already studied one part of tribal communities. Now we are continuing with the rest of the part. The name of the topic is Mainstream Attitude Towards Tribe. Means the attitude of general public towards tribe. Okay, so that is mainstream attitude towards tribe. Here we are dealing with the issues of tribal people and how they resist those. There are many issues and how these people resist those issues and solve those issues, etc. And the solutions given by some sociologists to solve their problems. That is what we are discussing under mainstream attitude towards tribe. Okay, so we will analyze one by one. As you know, tribes are the aboriginals or the original inhabitants of Indian society, and tribes were isolated people. They maintain their culture, and after the Britishers came to India, these tribals faced many problems because of the governmental as well as related activities. Okay, so tribes faced many problems during colonial era, and non-tribals, the reason or why they are facing problems: one, non-tribals occupied tribals' land. Governmental policies of forest, mining also led to restrict tribal entry into their places. So when the Britishers ruled India, they entered into these tribal areas with the help of the local people, with the help of the local king or the leader of this tribal society. Britishers entered into tribal areas and they took away the natural resources that is available there. They exploited these tribal people, and they started many projects over there, and because of these projects many non-tribals entered into their place and they gradually occupied this tribal land. They started to establish industrial areas and they started to live over there. Okay, so non-tribals occupied tribals' land, and governmental policies of forest and mining also led to restrict tribal entry into their places. So government decided to start some mining areas in a forest area. They restricted the tribals' entry. Okay, these areas were the original inhabitant areas of these these areas are the place where the tribals are living. Okay, so those areas were taken away by the government for mining as well as mining related and other activities. Tribal areas were considered as the primary source of natural resources, and Britishers exploited tribals for that. Okay, so there are 4 points. First is tribes faced many problems during colonial era. Then in that, the first problem is non-tribals occupied tribals' land. Second one is governmental policies related to forest and mining also led to restrict the tribal entry to their places. Then tribal areas are considered as the primary source of natural resources. Britishers exploited tribals for these natural resources. Natural resources such as products, animal products, then other products such as pepper, then spices, etc. are spices, wood, etc. are available in these forest areas. So Britishers exploited tribals for taking away these natural resources, and they made profit out of that. So that is the 4th point. Then so these are all the exploitations. Okay, first one, second one, non-tribals occupied lands and government policies related to these taking away of natural resources, all are exploitation. So because of this exploitation, Due to tribe rebellion moves from tribes, colonial government made areas as excluded and partially excluded to restrict entry and exit of tribes and non-tribes in some places. So because of this exploitation, tribals started to oppose. And naturally what happens? Conflict may come. Okay, so that is due to rebellion moves. Moves that are against the government, that is due to rebellion moves. Due to rebellion moves from the tribes, colonial government made some areas as excluded and partially excluded. Excluded means you are not supposed to enter in that particular area. Tribals are not supposed to enter in that area. That area is known as excluded area. And partially excluded, some can come, and who can come is written over there as rules, and like that they made the forest area into excluded and partially excluded to for what? To restrict entry and exit of tribals and non-tribals in some places, because along with these tribes, non-tribes are also occupying these tribal land and they are taking away natural resources. So colonial government made some areas as excluded and some as partially excluded to restrict the entry and exit of tribes as well as non-tribes. And in these areas, Britishers indirectly ruled tribes with the help of local kings. So as all of you know, there is no proper political rule in these tribal areas. So there is a Mupan or a head of the particular tribe, and that tribe, that leader or that Mupan is under the control of the local king. So Britishers indirectly ruled tribes with the help of this local king. Okay, they influenced the local king and then they ruled tribes indirectly. Okay, next is so that was the general situation, the attitude of general public towards them and what they did. That is what we discussed in that slide. Okay, now to solve the problems, the freedom struggle leaders as well as the sociologists put forward some theories or ideas. Okay, now we are analyzing that idea. There are two viewpoints. One viewpoint is isolationist view and the other one is integrationist view. We are discussing about how to develop this tribal people. Okay, so there are two ideas. First is isolationist view and second one is integrationist view, and you have studied this in your first year G.S. Gure theoretical part. Okay, so isolationist view is the viewpoint of Verrier, Elwin and group. Verrier Elwin is a British anthropologist. Okay, isolationist view is the viewpoint of Verrier Elwin and his supporters. And what is this isolationist view? In the term itself, the explanation is there. Verrier Elwin and his group wanted to isolate tribes and to protect these people from exploitation. So Verrier Elwin wanted to isolate tribes. For what? They need protection, and they have to protect from the exploitation of traders, money lenders and Christian as well as Hindu missionaries. Okay, there were Hindu as well as Christian missionaries inside these tribal areas to convert tribes. Okay, so Verrier Elwin is of opinion that tribals need protection from the people who exploit them, and for that you have to isolate tribals, and through isolation only you can develop these people. That is the viewpoint of Verrier Elwin. Okay, second viewpoint is integrationist view, and the main proponent of this theory is G.S. Gure, and according to him, tribes are Hindus, tribals are Hindus, and their problems are to be considered just like the problems of backward Hindus. G.S. Gure called tribals as backward Hindus. Okay, can be asked for 1 mark. G.S. Gure wanted to call these tribals as backward Hindus. So he says tribals are Hindus, their problems are to be considered just like how we are solving the problems of backward Hindus. Okay, so that is the integrationist viewpoint. Then after the independence, most of our welfare schemes of government was on the basis of a combination of integrationist as well as isolationist viewpoint, and we call it as controlled integration. Okay, so our welfare schemes of government was on the basis of controlled integration, and the schemes were like the tribal sub-plans, tribal welfare blocks, special multi-purpose schemes and 5-year plans were made keeping in mind a controlled integration policy. It's not exactly integration but controlled integration. So half part of integration and half part of isolationist, a combination of integrationist and isolation is what? Controlled integration. Understood? So this is very important. Isolationist view and integrationist viewpoint. Okay. So next is these integration schemes by the government benefited the mainstream only. The integration, controlled integration and the welfare schemes related to that was for developing the tribal people. But actually what happened is the integration benefited the mainstream society, and tribals were shattered, their lands were taken away, they were exploited in the name of development. They were exploited in the name of the development of the whole country. Okay, so integration benefited the mainstream society and the tribals were shattered. They were migrated from their places to other places and their lands were taken away. They were exploited in the name of development. So that is about these 2 points are also you have to add along with isolationist as well as the integrationist theory. If the question is coming like explain isolationist viewpoint and integrationist viewpoint for 6 marks, you have to write these 2 points too. Now next slide is about national development versus tribal development. National development versus tribal development can be asked for 4 or 6 marks. Okay, whether the tribal development helped in national development or national development helped in tribal development, that is what we are going to analyze here. Okay, and we already told that the developmental activities the developmental activities benefited the mainstream society. We already discussed about that in the last slide. Okay, now national development versus tribal development. National development aimed during the post-independent India benefited mainstream society at the cost of tribal people. These schemes, these development programs were for the benefit of the tribal people, but actually this was benefited by the mainstream society. Okay, so at the cost of tribal people we got the benefit, the mainstream society got the benefit of those schemes. Most of the dams, mines, factories, hydroelectric power plants established were in the tribal land. So the dams, mines, factories, hydroelectric power plants for the development of the country were established in the tribal land, and these power plants and dams and mines are for the welfare of the nation, and this made tribes landless. Okay, government gave some offer, you will be getting job over there, you will be getting land over there, and finally these tribes became landless and the benefit goes to the mainstream society. Best example for that is Narmada Dam. Narmada Dam was built in tribal area, and because of this dam many tribals lost their land. Third point is many non-tribals migrated into forest because when these mines, dams, factories, hydroelectric power plants are establishing, non-tribals who came into the forest for the work on contract basis or anything, they wanted to settle down over there in the forest, and these settling down of or migration of non-tribals destroyed the tribal culture and accelerated exploitation. That increased the exploitation because many natural resources are available over there. Those non-tribals wanted to migrate into the forest, and these tribal people who wanted to live in isolation became landless, and at the same time the cultural exchange between the non-tribals as well as the tribals destroyed the tribal culture. Example for that is Jharkhand, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, etc. Now these places have only half of its population in their areas. Majority of the tribal people are migrating from these areas because non-tribals are entering into their places and settling down over there. So they don't want to stay over there. They are moving out from these forest areas. So example is Jharkhand, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh now have only half of its population in their areas. In their areas means half of its population in the forest areas. Thus, national development in India had a negative impact on tribal development. We planned programs, schemes, etc. for the national development, and that had a negative impact on the tribal development. It adversely influenced tribes to migrate to other places, and it threatens tribal culture. So, it influenced the tribes to migrate to other places, as well as these developmental schemes threatens the tribal culture. Okay, so that can be asked for 4 or 6 marks. Now next 4-6 marks part is tribal identity today. So what is the tribal identity? We are now going to wind up these tribal communities. So this is the last part, tribal identity today. What is the identity of tribal people now is what we are discussing here. Tribal identity today. So present day tribal identity is developed by the interaction of tribes and non-tribes. Okay, now the modern tribes identity is a mixture of the interaction of tribes with non-tribes, and tribes today are resistant and opposed to mainstream exploitation. Now the tribes are not bearing what the others are doing, they are resisting, they are opposing the exploitation of the mainstream people. So the present day tribal identity is formed by the interaction of tribes as well as non-tribes, and the tribes today are resistant and opposed to the mainstream exploitation. Many northeastern states have special laws to limit citizen liberties. Now, as you know, in northeastern states, the majority 60 to 95% of the population are tribal people, and in these areas special laws are there which limit citizen liberties. This is so because why it is so? These northeastern states are in India, but still why these special laws are there to limit the citizen liberties? The reason is these areas are disturbed now because of the activities of various tribal movements and the activities of non-tribal people, and because of this these areas are declared disturbed areas. Because their areas are declared disturbed areas, and in these areas rebellious move from state and tribes. In these areas rebellious move from state and tribes disturbed their economy and culture. In these areas there are rebellious move from states and tribes which disturbed their economy and culture. Next is, despite oppositions, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh are the two places which got statehood. These two areas are dominated by tribal people, and because of the movements and the protest, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh got statehood but even though they are separate state, they still have to become autonomous. They are not completely free. The tribes are still powerless. They are under the control of central government. So they became successful in getting the statehood. The two states exclusively for tribes are Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, but still these states have to become autonomous. Autonomous means a state which can take free, completely free and non-influenced decisions. Okay, that is autonomy. I can, in an autonomous institution, I can take decisions of decisions of my wish. Okay, so that is the last one. Now, so that is the problem of tribals, but inside the tribes itself another problem started, that is with the help of reservation as well as the job facilities. Some tribes emerged as educated middle class, and these people migrated to the urban areas and their life has changed, and these people are not now bothered about the problems of the real tribal people who are staying in the forest. So there is an emergence of educated middle class among the tribals. That is, these tribals are the ones who effectively used reservations. They got job, they are educated, and they shifted to urban areas. Okay, so there is an emergence of educated middle class among the tribals, and this resulted in class divisions among the tribals. In the tribals itself, you can see poor people, uneducated people, and educated middle class. So these different class divisions again may create problems, because the issues of these poor as well as the uneducated tribes are different from that of educated middle class tribes. Okay, and two main issues of tribes are issues faced by the tribes of the present day are losing control over the forest and issues related to culture. Their culture is mixing with the non-tribals, as well as they are losing their control over the forest, are the two main issues faced by the tribals. This can be asked for 2-mark question. Okay, this part. Then different classes emerged, are now looking these issues differently, and there may be issues within the tribes too. There are issues within the tribes because there are different class divisions in the tribal community, and people are these different classes are looking different, looking in a different way to these issues. Okay, there are many tribal movements to resist exploitations in these tribal areas. Okay, tribal areas, tribal movement example is Chipko movement, Narmada Bachao movement, etc. The tribal movements developed in these tribal areas. Okay, now that part is over. Now few questions. Is national development against tribal development? Is national development against tribal development? Discuss. National development in against tribal development discuss here, explain here, 6 marks. Explain the mainstream attitude towards tribes in the mainstream attitude and if the question is for 8 marks, you have to write that 1 slide plus isolationist view as well as integrationist view. And 6-mark question can come for analyze the isolationist view and integrationist view on tribes. So you have to write who is the proponent of isolationist view and who is the proponent of integrationist view, and what is this this about. Okay, then which are the 2 main issues that led to tribal movements? Answer is given: issues related to the control over the forest and issues related to culture and ethnic identity. Explain today's tribal identity of tribal communities. That is tribal identity today, last part. Can be asked for 6 marks. What are the factors behind the assertion of tribal identity? That is also the last part. What are the factors behind the assertion of tribal identity? 4 marks, the last slide. Okay, thank you. Now next is family and kinship. Okay, thank you.